Fear. You think you know it. Everyone does. Fear is that old, familiar companion, the one that has sat beside you in the darkest moments of your life, the one that has whispered in your ear, shaping your decisions, controlling your every step. It's the shadow that lurks in every corner of your mind, the weight that presses down on your chest, making you shrink into yourself, making you hide from the world around you. It's the feeling that has held you back, made you question your every move, made you doubt if you're even capable of anything more than what you've already known. But here's the truth. They've never known fear like you do. They haven't seen the kind of fear that you carry within you, the kind of fear that doesn't just make you afraid to fail, but the kind of fear that's so deep, so consuming, that it paralyzes you from even starting. You've felt it. That fear has been your constant companion, holding you down, making you small, making you believe that you're not worthy of anything greater. And it's okay. I see you. I see the wound, the scars that you've hidden from the world. I know how it feels to be knocked down, to feel like life is just kicking you when you're already lying on the ground, exhausted, desperate for relief, the kind of relief that never seems to come. You've cried out, begged for a way out, but no one answered. And in those moments of silence, that fear only grew stronger. It made you think you were weak, that you would never rise again. But here's what they don't know. The fear that they've seen in you, the one they've used to try to define you, is nothing compared to what you're about to face. You think you've been afraid of what's ahead? That's nothing. The real fear, the fear that will change everything, that's the fear that lies inside of you. The fear of becoming everything you've always avoided. The fear of finally stepping into your power, of breaking free from the chains that have held you captive for far too long. I'm not talking about the fear of failure. No, that's just the beginning. I'm talking about the fear of standing tall in your own truth, the fear of realizing your own strength. That fear is something they don't understand. They think they know fear. They don't. Not like you do. Not the way you're about to learn it. You've been running from it for too long. But soon, you'll realize something. The fear that once made you shrink away, the one that kept you from living fully, is the same fear that will propel you forward. It's the very force that will push you to places you never thought possible. You've been trapped in that cycle for so long, and now it's time to confront what you've always feared. It's time to turn that fear into fuel. The moment you do, the moment you rise above what has kept you down, is the moment everything changes. They never knew fear like you will. They will never know the fear of standing face to face with your greatest challenge and conquering. And that's the fear they should have been afraid of all along. The fear that will show them just how powerful you truly are. Fear. It is the villain that has always been by your side, whispering in your ear when the world grew quiet. It's the voice that told you you weren't good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. It has shaped your every decision, subtly weaving itself into the fabric of your thoughts until you couldn't tell where your voice ended and its whisper began. Fear has paralyzed you. It has held you in place, rooted to the ground like an anchor you couldn't escape. Imagine fear as a shadow that clings to your every step, always just a little behind, always reminding you of your weaknesses, your failures, your inadequacies. It's an invisible chain wrapped around your heart, pulling you down, making you believe you'll never rise above. It clouds your vision like a storm so thick that you can barely see the light that lies beyond. You know the storm is coming, but you don't know how to stop it. You don't know how to outrun it. That fear, that invisible force, has controlled you. It has defined your past. You've tried to move forward, tried to step out of its shadow, but it's always been there, lingering, waiting for the right moment to drag you back into its depths. You've watched as your dreams crumbled, as your hopes were washed away in the flood of self-doubt. You've failed over and over. You've seen the road ahead, but it's always felt like an impossible climb, an endless struggle. The harder you try, the harder the fear pulls you down. It's as if you were meant to stay stuck, meant to fail, meant to never feel the sunlight on your face. And in those moments when you couldn't breathe, when the weight of the world seemed too much to bear, you began to question everything. What's the point? You asked yourself. Why bother when all I do is fail? When I can't seem to get anything right? You've been to the edge, stood on the brink of giving up, of walking away from everything. You've been so close to letting go, to sinking into the darkness that fear promised would be easier than continuing the fight. How many nights have you spent questioning if you even have a place here? If you belong anywhere? When you look around, it feels like everyone else has their life together, while you're stuck, stagnant, fighting a battle no one can see. You've seen others succeed, others push through, while you've been left behind, trapped in the same cycle of failure, always falling short. The more you try, the more it feels like the universe is working against you, as if everything you do is destined to crumble. You've screamed for answers, but all you've received is silence. This is the weight of doubt. It wraps around your soul like a heavy cloak, making each day feel like a struggle. You try to fight it, but it's relentless. It tells you you're not worthy. It tells you that you don't have what it takes. It tells you that you'll never be more than what you are right now, that you will always be stuck in this place, this cycle of self-doubt and unfulfilled potential. The fear has become the lens through which you view the world, distorting your vision, blurring the possibilities. You start to believe that maybe it's true, that you're destined for nothing more than this. Every failure, every setback, only fuels the fire of doubt, making you question if you'll ever rise above. The voices of fear grow louder, and with each passing day you feel smaller, more insignificant, more lost. But what if this isn't the end? What if this fear, the one that has kept you in the dark for so long, isn't the final word? What if the struggle you've faced, the pain you've endured, has been leading you to something greater? Fear has ruled you. Yes, but that doesn't mean it will always have the power to hold you down. That doesn't mean the cycle of failure and doubt has to continue. You've been trapped by fear, but you don't have to remain its prisoner forever. The first step to freedom is realizing that the chains that have held you in place were never as strong as they seem. The storm that has clouded your mind has always been just a storm, a passing force that cannot define you. It has kept you in place, yes, but now it's time to break free. The villain of fear doesn't own you. It doesn't define you. And it's time to take back what belongs to you. Your future, your potential, your power. In this moment, the winds of change begin to stir, and the heavy fog of fear begins to dissipate. You stand at the crossroads of a great transformation. The storm that once threatened to engulf you has become a catalyst, a moment of awakening, a chance to reclaim what's been lost and build something new. This is your turning point. The darkness you feared is not your enemy. It is the soil in which your roots can grow deeper, your strength can be forged, and your spirit can be unleashed. The fear that has confined you, that has made you shrink back into the shadows, is no longer something to be afraid of. No, it's a force to be harnessed, a fire to fuel your journey forward. Imagine standing at the edge of the storm, feeling its cold winds and heavy rain. You could run, you could hide, but instead you turn to face it, and in that moment, something shifts. What once felt like the end is now a beginning. The darkness you once feared becomes a stage for your greatest transformation. This is the moment when the narrative changes. No longer are you the victim of your fears. Now, you are the hero of your own story. The fear that once paralyzed you, that whispered in your ear, "You are not enough," now roars with power as you take control of it. It is no longer a shadow that hides your potential. It is a force that reveals it. You see now that the pain, the struggle, the very thing that made you feel so small, is the fire that will forge your greatness. This is the awakening, the understanding that fear has been your companion, not to keep you weak, but to challenge you, to push you, to grow you. You've lived your life in a cage of your own making, but the bars were never as strong as you thought. They were a test of your resolve. The world thought they knew fear, but they never understood the power of resilience that lies within you. They thought you were broken, that you couldn't stand up, but now you know the truth. You've always had the power to rise. The fear that once controlled you is now the weapon you wield. It's your armor, it's your strength. Where before it crushed your spirit, now it fuels your fire. The very thing that once sought to break you has become the driving force behind your every move. It's the fuel that powers your every step, propelling you forward with the weight of your own unstoppable will. The world didn't know what they were dealing with when they underestimated you. They didn't see the spark that was waiting to ignite within you. The battle you've faced, the doubts that have tortured you, have led you here. And it's not a place of defeat. No, it's a place of unimaginable strength. You see it now, don't you? You're not defined by your past failures, by the times you've stumbled or fallen. You are defined by your ability to rise, by your refusal to stay down, by the strength that has always been there, hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to burst forth. You've been through the fire, and it has not consumed you. It has forged you. You've walked through the storm, and it has not broken you. It has shaped you. This is your moment. This is your time to stand tall. The ones who tried to break you, who thought they could keep you small, never understood what they were dealing. They didn't understand the depth of your spirit, the resilience you carry within you. They never knew the true power of your will. As you begin to turn the tables, to take control of your fear, you see a new path before you. A path not defined by the constraints of what others think you are capable of, but by the limitless potential that is now within you. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the master of your fate. The fear you once feared is now the fuel for your rise, and with it, you will carve a path that no one can follow, a path that leads to your destiny. There is no going back now. The world may still try to impose its doubts upon you, to remind you of your limitations, but you know better now. You are not bound by their expectation. You are free, free to chase your dream, free to become everything they said you couldn't be. The fire that once threatened to burn you is now the light that leads your way. The darkness is no longer a threat. It is a part of you, and from it, you will emerge stronger, brighter, more powerful than ever before. You have discovered what they never saw, the power of your resilience, the fire within you that will never be extinguished. You've embraced the darkness, and now you are the storm. The world thought they knew fear until they met you, and now they'll know that the only thing stronger than fear is the one who chooses to face it and rise above it. The storm has passed. The clouds that once darkened your skies have dispersed, leaving only clear, endless horizons in their wake. You are no longer a prisoner of your fear, no longer bound by the invisible chains that once held you in place. The darkness that you once dreaded is now behind you, and in its place is a new world, one where you are free to walk tall, free to move forward with purpose, free to be the person you were always meant to become. You have shed your old skin. The version of yourself that once feared the storm, that once cowered in the face of adversity, has been transformed. The struggle has not destroyed you. It has remade you. You stand taller now, stronger, unshaken by the forces that once seemed so powerful. You don't just walk through fear now. You rise. You stand firm, rooted like an unbreakable tree. You face the storm head-on, and you make it bow down to you. No longer will fear dictate your path. You are the one who chooses where to go. You are the one who controls your destiny. The journey hasn't been easy. It's been long, filled with obstacles, filled with moments when you felt like giving up. But you didn't. You fought. You learned. You grew. And now, the very thing that sought to defeat you has become your ally. The storm that once threatened to destroy you has given you the power to rebuild, to rise higher than you ever thought possible. Fear no longer controls you. It is no longer a weight around your neck, a force that pulls you down into the darkness. It is the fuel that powers you. It is the energy that drives you forward with an unstoppable force. Where others see obstacles, you see opportunity. Where others see failure, you see the lessons that will propel you to new heights. The world thought they could break you. They thought they knew who you were. But now they will see something different. They will see your resilience, your strength, your power. They will see the person you were always meant to be, the person who was hidden beneath the layers of fear and doubt, waiting to emerge. You're not the same anymore. You never will be again. The person you were before is gone, buried beneath the ashes of your past. What stands before you now is someone who knows their worth, someone who understands the power they hold, someone who will not be stopped. And now, it's time for you to take that first step toward your destiny. The journey isn't over. It has only just begun. The road ahead may still have its challenges, but you are no longer afraid. You are no longer the person who shrinks away from difficulty. You are the one who rises to meet it. You are the one who will carve your own path, who will shape your own future. It's time to move forward, to leave behind the fear that once held you back, to embrace the power that now resides within you. This is your time. This is your moment. No one can take that from you. The storm has passed, and you are the one standing strong in the aftermath. The world will never be the same because you have changed it. You've changed yourself. So rise, stand tall, move forward. The path is yours to shape, and you have everything you need to succeed. Fear is no longer your enemy. It is your ally. It will no longer hold you back. It will drive you forward. The time to act is now. The time to claim your future is now. And you, my friend, are ready. You have always been ready. Now the world will see it. In this moment, everything becomes clear. The fog that once clouded your mind lifts, and you stand at the pinnacle of your transformation. You are no longer the person you once were, the person cowering in the shadows of fear. You are the storm now. The winds that once threatened to tear you apart now carry you forward with a force stronger than anything you've ever known. Fear, once your enemy, is now a part of you. It is no longer something to run from, something to avoid. It is the very thing that will propel you to new heights, to places you never thought possible. The storm no longer rages against you. You are the storm. The very thing that once held you back, that once paralyzed you, is now the power that drives you forward. Fear is not something to be afraid of anymore. It is the fire that fuels your every step. It is the shadow that you cast, not the one you hide from. You have embraced it, harnessed it, and made it yours. You are the embodiment of everything you once feared, but now it is your strength. It is your weapon. You walk forward with your head held high, because you know now that fear is not something to flee from. It is the force that makes you who you are. The world, they thought they knew fear. They thought they had seen it all, but they have never seen anything like you. They have never seen what happens when someone finally understands their true power, when they finally embrace their greatest source of strength. They never saw you coming, and now they will. The very thing that they thought could break you, the very thing that they thought would keep you small, is now the thing that will make them tremble in awe. You are not just walking through fear anymore. You are walking through life with a sense of purpose, a sense of strength, a sense of power that they can no longer deny. The game has changed. The world has been forced to recognize the power you've always had within you, the power that was waiting for the right moment to burst forth. You are no longer the person they expected you to be. You are the person you were always meant to become. Now, it's time to rise. It's time to act. Time to show the world what real fear looks like. Fear isn't the thing that stops you anymore. Fear is the thing that propels you forward, that pushes you to chase your dreams, to take risks, to seize what's rightfully yours. It's time to stop running from the darkness. It's time to stand in it, to own it, to let it fuel you as you break through every barrier in your way. The time for hesitation is over. The time for doubt is gone. It's your time to take control of your future, to claim what belongs to you. Fear has no place in your life anymore. You have already conquered it. You've already shown that you are stronger than anything that comes your way. So rise, take the first step, and then the next. Keep moving forward. Fear is no longer your enemy. It is your ally. It is the force that will drive you to do the impossible. And the world has only just begun to see what happens when someone like you understands their true power. They've never seen anything like you. Now, it's time for you to show them exactly who you are. As you stand here today, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come, from the darkness to the light, from being shackled by fear, paralyzed by doubt, to becoming the person you are now, the person who no longer runs from their own shadows, but stands tall in the face of them. You were once a victim of your circumstances, a prisoner of your own mind, held captive by fears that told you what you couldn't do, who you couldn't be. But now you are the victor. You are the one who rose above it all, the one who turned the tides in their favor. You've taken control of your destiny, and no force in this world can take that from you. The journey hasn't been easy. You've walked through storms. You've faced obstacles that made you want to quit. You've been to the edge where hope seemed lost. But it was through that struggle, that relentless fight, that you discovered who you really are. It's through the pain, the setbacks, and the fear that you were forged into something stronger, something more resilient than you ever imagined. And now, standing on the other side of that transformation, you know that the power was always within you. It just took the struggle to bring it out. There will still be challenges ahead. There will still be moments where the world feels heavy, where fear tries to creep in and remind you of your limitation. But now you know better. Now you know that fear is not your enemy. It is your ally. You've learned to stand tall in its presence, to face it head on, and to use it as the fuel that propels you forward. Whatever challenges come next, you have the strength to overcome them. The power is yours, and no one can take that from you. As you step into the future, remember this moment. Remember the person you were before, the one who doubted themselves, who struggled to rise. And then remember the person you are now, the one who knows their worth, who understands their strength, who is ready to take on whatever comes next. This is just the beginning. Your journey is far from over, but now you walk it with confidence, with power, with the understanding that fear is no longer the thing that holds you back. It is the thing that pushes you forward. So take a deep breath. Feel the strength in your chest. The world has only just begun to see what you are capable of. And now, it's time for you to show them what you've learned, what you've become. The journey ahead may still have its trial, but you know one thing for certain: you will rise. You will face every challenge with the strength you've discovered within yourself. You will no longer be held back by fear. You will walk forward with purpose, and nothing will stop you. The time is now. The world is waiting for you to show up, to step into your power, to claim your future. And you, my friend, are ready. You've always been ready. Now go and show them what it means to live in the power of who you truly are. The journey is yours to make. The future is yours to shape. And nothing at all can stand in your way.